Is your office draining your energy? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought that you're resistant to going into your office, or days that you just don't want to work in there and you don't know why? You just got this weird intuitive feeling like you just won't want to be in there. I am style expert and feng shui expert Christine Beauvais, and today we're going to dive into day 2 of our mini decluttering challenge. And in today's topic, we are going to stay focused on your office. We're going to help you understand why your office could really be draining your energy. It could be a result of many different reasons, and I'm going to go through them so that you can really sit in your office and take a look and understand why it isn't working for you. And it could be a home office, it could be an office that you go to in another building, it could be an office even if it's at your kitchen table. But I know what happens is that we don't realize how much the impact of energy of our environment is really either uplifting us or draining us. I talk all about the clothes, and now I'm back to talk about the office. So, number 1, if you were to sit here and have a consultation with me and you were starting telling me that, I just don't know what it is, what's going on with my office, I don't know why it's just off. Well, I'm going to ask you quite a few questions. And so the first thing I'm going to look at is, tell me about the light in your office. Is it overhead for less lighting? Is it, do you have a lot of window light? Why? Because for some people, the lighting could really be too much energy going on. And so if you have a room where you have a big window and you have a lot of light coming in, and it feels overwhelming and it feels like it's too much, that's energy coming through the window. So for some people, they don't realize that it's great to have all that light, but they could be overly sensitive to it. So something simple, you're just adding blinds and curtains, and it just tones down the room. But other times we can't control those overhead lights. And that's where you could maybe see if you can turn off the lights and really bring in your own little set of lights and notice the difference with just those changes of how your energy works. Because again, some of us are really sensitive to lighting. And when you're needing to do more calming work, when you need to do things that are more slow motion or just kind of calming stuff, and you're overwhelmed, if you don't have that sense of a calming energy, it's going to be hard to sit there and try to write. It's going to be hard to sit there and try to come up with different ideas. So definitely look at your lighting. After we looked at our lighting, then I would look at your chair. The chair you're sitting into has a lot of energy. And for some people, you may not even pay attention that your back problems could be coming from a really old chair that's not as comfortable. And maybe you just don't even realize that it's creating a lot of fatigue for you. So invest in a chair that has a really good back so that you're supportive and feel like you're in a really command position, but a chair that really feels cushioned. And maybe it's something that you haven't taken care of in the past couple of years. I know that I've had clients say to me, oh, you know what? I've never really thought about my chair. I just assume it's a bunch of other things. So when was the last time that you bought yourself a really good chair? And if you can't really get a really good chair right now, what about getting some cushions or some maybe there are mats that you could put on there that can really help just give a whole new feeling to the chair that could be the subtle thing that would maybe make you want to work at your desk more. You've got your chair, we've got the lighting, but what about what's surrounding us? And here's the number one thing that I'm always getting, and that is the bookshelves. Bookshelves are great, but unfortunately, they tend to be superly cluttered. They tend to be full of books just stacked in, crammed in. The problem with that is that it just feels overwhelming. And when I have people come to me that they feel like their office is just cluttered and it's overwhelming, I usually find that there's bookshelves piled with papers, piled with books, and they're just more clutter than pretty. When you take a bookshelf apart and you put it back and you put some books down like this and you put maybe pictures on there and you open up those shelves, Well, that tiny room no longer feels congested. That tiny room no longer feels overwhelming. It now feels expansive. So if the problem for you is that you're just feeling cluttered in a very narrow office, which many people do have, it's because you probably have too much stuff in there, and all you need to do is take some of those books, donate them to a library or those little book stands that you can find where people can take a book, leave a book, and free up that space. And if you're writing a book, then really make a shelf that is all about your book, what you're doing, the title of the book, because that's what you want to be seeing is your book on that shelf. And if you've written a book, I'm about to say something that sounds weird, but those should be on your shelves. And a lot of times I don't see clients have that on their shelves. So energetically, you're walking into an office with a lot of people's books written, and you're like, well, where's my book? But you're not making space for your book. So really go through your books and make sure that you are getting rid of what no longer honors you or what no longer serves you. It's so important to be aware of what we're looking at and how that impacts our energy. Now the next step is declutter your drawers. The drawers collect so much stuff. And a lot of times it's electronics that no longer use, plugs, cords, chargers. All of that stuff can actually be recycled now. And where I live, we have a lot of Staples around here, and Staples offers a lot of incentives to recycle any types of those products. Now you do have to look and you do have to check out to see which product you can bring in, but they have a really good list of everything from printers, screens, certain types of plugs, batteries, chargers. Just read it and then take advantage of that incentive that they're offering you. Maybe it's $10, $20 off. Maybe it's extra bonus points. Whatever it is, then you can go buy the things that you really need. You know, that expensive printer, ink that cost you for like a fortune. But here's what you want to think about. How much stuff is sitting in those drawers right now? And you're just like, oh, I can't even open that drawer. If you just took 30 minutes, a timer, and you went through it, gathered things up quickly, made a trip to your local Staples, turned it all in, it's not in landfills, you feel better because it's being recycled, and now you come back and your drawers are nice and neat and organized. What a difference. It really makes a difference. I'm sure you've done that. How many times have you opened up a drawer and you just saw it all cluttered and you just shut it? But then when you open it up, it's neat, it's organized, you've got pens that work, you got notepads in there, you got the tape that you're looking for. It's all there. So when you can spend just 30 minutes, and I'm telling you, also, if you do your electronics, any types of computers or screen, make sure everything's wiped off and cleaned. And I mean, you know, your hard drive's wiped out and you're not bringing stuff that has any important information on there. You've taken that all off. You might discover you're going to find hard drives that you had because you probably have 20 of them in your drawer and you're like, oh, what is this one? Where does this one go? And you might want to just put them on your desk and kind of quickly go through them because you probably are going to find that file that you've been missing for like, you know, months now and you couldn't figure out where it is. You're going to find a lot of stuff that you feel like you lost. So definitely just take 30 minutes, put a timer on, go through your drawers, figure out what you can recycle, head over to your Staples, and there you go. You cleaned up your drawers. And then you can buy any type of organizers you need. But I want to give you one tip about organizing. The drawers are really easy to get messy. And one of the best things I love to talk about is those little boxes that sometimes you buy things and they come in and maybe it's like your iPhone. I've taken the iPhone ones and they work well to put your pencils in and pens in and work really well as drawer organizers. So any of those little boxes, jewelry boxes that you have, put them in your drawer and they can take up as an organizing tool. So they'll take up space to put the pens in, to put the markers in, and whatever things that you have, paper clips, and use those instead of going out and buying stuff that you don't need. Think about how easy you can really just refresh your office with really probably not even spending a dime. So you've gone through your drawers, you've reset your office, you have gone through the books, we have talked about lighting. Now let's talk about the pictures. What are the pictures that you're looking at? When was the last time you refreshed them? When was the last time you got new pictures in there and put in more inspiring, uplifting pictures? Oftentimes, people don't even realize this. They never think about the pictures that they're looking at. Why? Because we become desensitized to our space. And when we're desensitized to our space, we're just coming in and leaving. But sometimes just the energy of new photographs or new pictures can really re-energize the office. It gets you excited and helps you to feel better. So now take a look at your paintings, your pictures, your photographs, the frames. Freshen them up. Give them a new makeover. Buy a new frame. Change out the frames. Maybe you have all gold, now go to all black. Whatever it is, figure out what's going to make you feel more excited. Just that alone can really have a bigger impact on you. So now we've done the walls, the drawers, the cabinets, all those things that are weighing you down. But often people say to me, Christine, I just have tons of clutter. And clutter is just often a sign of resistance, things that we don't want to deal with. And that can be really challenging. So I go again to the timer, that's your best friend, and just do every day 15 to 30 minutes of going through these piles, and either things can be shredded with your shredder, or, again, I'm going to say about Staples, you could bring things to Staples, they just weigh them. You can bring in a ton of paper, like bring it in neat and organized, but they put it on a scale and they'll charge you maybe $4 or $5, and then they shred it. They take care of it. And so that is an easy way to just take care of that mess. But make sure you go through those piles. I often hear people say, well, I hired someone and then they, shredded the wrong thing and now that was a mess. When you're home watching TV or listening to something, you can go through those piles and make the right piles, wrap them up and say, these are important papers that got to be filed, I need them, and these are papers that have got to go to the shredding. You could do that watching TV. And by the time you're done with your favorite show, you've got 2 piles, hand it off to somebody, have them shred it or bring it to Staples to get it shred, take those important papers and get them filed. Boom. How fast is that? It's really simple stuff. And, I know everyone does everything on the computer these days, but I know there's lots of things there are certain things I like to print out and have a hard copy of, so I either go out and buy a pretty binder to put it in, or I have pretty file folders. Make things pretty and you stay organized even more. But then there's your computer, and that's where you need to declutter. Again, you've got tons of files on there. You're probably getting notifications that your software that has backed up is running out of space, and it's time to go in there and declutter. It's time to go in there and make sure you're making folders. Make folders that say, this is for social media posts, or this is for my talks, or whatever it is. But then make sure you're decluttering on a daily basis. And again, that's overwhelming. So if it's your computer that's, getting cluttered, just take 10 to 15 minutes, set the timer, put on some music, and quickly do it at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. You're going to feel so much better. Because every time we have so much stuff that's overwhelming us, we feel like nothing's getting done. And when you have these little mini breaks, it really feels refreshing. When you can just have one thing organized, you feel relaxed and calm. It feels a sense of calmness, but a sense of clarity. And it will make a huge difference. So if this is something that you can do over the next 9 days at 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day, or maybe you just do it all on Saturday morning, whatever works for you. There is no one solution. Everybody works differently. Some people might say, hey, I'll get up, early in the morning and do this. And other people might say, at 10 o'clock at night, I just had that second wind. But energetically, you are going to feel refreshed. If you do this on a seasonal basis, let me tell you, it's going to have such a great energy shift for you with your clothes, with your office. Now, keep in mind that sometimes we are going to be more in our office for this season, and other season we're traveling more. If you have a traveling office with you, there are so many brands. There's a brand called My Stackers that has a really cool like mobile office where you can like sit down and you put your laptop up, and then you have like these little dividers around you, and you kind of create this like semi-small cubicle. There are so many cool tools out there so that if you are traveling a lot, you can make your own office, and you could get a placemat, you can get a tablecloth, and you could put that down if you have to work at your kitchen table too. This works, and create a sense of an office, but it's neat and it's organized because you have these little components that just fold up. You kind of carry the case away, and you're all set for your day. So keep in mind that there is a solution to everything these days, but if you don't clear up the clutter, it doesn't matter what organizing tool you bought, it's not going to be of value if you didn't get rid of the clutter. So what other things are really draining your energy? What other things are really pulling down your energy in your office? Is it noise from the neighbors? Is it constant squeaking of the door? Is it people not giving you private time? I'm adding in these three things because if you set the tone and the energy of an office, even if you put up a sign that says, do not disturb, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a conference, little things like that can really have a great impact when you're working at home or even in an office that you are constantly interacting with other people. I bring up this attention because people tell me all of this and why this isn't working, but they never set the boundaries for someone who walks into your office. So if you're setting the boundary that you're in a meeting from the outside of your office, then you make more space for the things that you need to get done. And it's so important to understand that. So your office really can have a whole different tone, and it can make a big difference when you set these boundaries. And when you think about little things about putting a sign on your door, even home offices where you say, I'm in a meeting, I'm on a call right now, little things like that, then create the boundaries for your office to become the productive space that you need. So if your space is not as productive as you want and it's not happening, I urge you to go through this checklist to figure out what's off, to figure out what's not working, and really help yourself understand that when these things are out of balance, they can have a big impact on your energy. And depending on your insecurities or your belief system, some people, this is a big drainer. So take a look at all those components of your office, figure out which one is off, and then make the adjustments that you need. Because when you have a space that you love to go to and you feel like it's creative and you feel like it's uplifting, that is going to have a greater impact on you and the work that you're getting done. Some people say, hey, I can go to the Starbucks and work there. And a lot of people can do that. But like me, I can't do that. I'm more comfortable being in my home and in my space. So you get to create the space that you want. And it's so important to really go through these key areas every season, now that we're into fall, and figure out how much time are you going to spend in your office? What does your office really need? Do you need to improve the heating or the AC? Do you need to reduce the noise of the AC or the heating? Those are things that you have to figure out how much they're bothering you. And if they're constantly draining you on an everyday basis, they need to be addressed because they're taking up space in your mind and they're becoming irritating to you. And when you have these kind of blocks around you, then it really impacts your energy and your creative mode. So I hope you have found these tips helpful. I hope you have realized that there are things that you can control, and how you control your environment is something that you can do within 15-30 minutes a day, or even just shopping for new things that would really make you more comfortable. When you do those little things, you're going to set yourself up for success. So you want to do this with your wardrobe closet, you want to do this with your office. If this is something that you're looking for more support and have more challenges that you can't find out, then I would love for you to DM me and schedule a call, and let's talk about how I can help you, virtually or in person. If you have more comments, more questions, leave them in the comments below, and definitely ask the questions that I may have missed on here. I will respond to them. But also, like this video and stay tuned for the third challenge, which will be here on Friday, where we're going to go through your makeup drawers. And let me tell you, I'm going to save you a whole lot of money. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time.